All right, 5 exercises for home, for legs specifically. All you need is dumbbells too. Dumbbell home exercises here. So this is 5 exercises. You can do 4 sets of each, you can do 3 sets of each, you can do 6 sets of each, whatever you want. But the key is to pay attention, of course, as always with the form. So enjoy, it's gonna be a really great workout for you. And just again, pay attention real close to the form because we wanna make sure we save those knees and that low back, right? That's 2 of the main areas that people always jack up when they do legs. So knees and low back are gonna be just fine and safe today when you watch this video. Enjoy.
Welcome to Fitness with Animal. I'm Animal.
All right, exercise number 1 is dumbbell static lunges. Now the key on this one is the most important thing to pay attention to is your knees on this. Make sure your knees don't go forward and anteriorly translate. That's the number 1 issue we're gonna focus on here. Also, you wanna engage your posterior chain, your hamstrings, and your glutes. That's the second most important part. Again, injury-free and then muscle activation. So what we're gonna do here, I'm gonna do without the weights first and then kind of show you. So chest up, shoulders back, right, at all times. Now the key is you never want that back heel to be on the ground. Never let that back heel on the ground. So you'll see it when I do this. You always want to have your heel slightly or all the way up, and you're going to be on your toes 100% of the time on your back foot. Every time, all time when you do a lunge. Now the key is to make sure your knee stays gravitationally in line with your ankle. So what it looks like here is it stays at about a 90, maybe even a 85. 95 is too far, 100 for sure. What we don't want to do is this. It disengages the muscles here.
Yo, bro. You wanna fight, bro? Come on, man. Come on, just fight.
Getting over a cold. I don't know if you watched my other video of training sick, but I'm better now. But my throat's all messed up. But anyway, so you'll be about 90 degrees here. So you want to push that weight on that heel. You want you want 80 or 90%. Depending on how your body is and your body weight and everybody is a little bit different. So put that weight on that heel. Don't go toe heavy. Once you go toe heavy, you're gonna start shooting forward and that's gonna put a lot of pressure on the patella, the knee, and all this kind of stuff. Now there's a lot of different ways, and I'll show you some too. There's some reasons to do this. If you have a sport or some other things, you actually need to do this. So that's a different thing. This is for muscle building and knee protection, joint specific protection, saving this here, and then your low back. Now the second part I was talking about is the low back. When I'm here, if you see I sit on my hips, meaning I sit back into it's that anterior pelvic tilt. I just sit my hips back here, see the difference here? Instead of here, so I don't want to be here, this sucks. This is internal rotation and kyphotic and all this sort of bad stuff. So when I do this exercise, the lunge, any lunge, all the lunges that you want to see, is you want to make sure your hips stay back. So here, not here. Do you see the difference? This is good. Here, glutes, hamstrings engaged, disengaged. My low back's gonna take pressure and my body's gonna become kyphotic. So that's what we wanna pay attention to on the lunges. Now, this is what it looks like here. We use dumbbells here. All right. You don't need to go all the way to the ground. You can go about an inch above. That's fine. You see here, push that weight on that heel. Now, as you see here, my hamstring and glutes, I'm using them. That's the key. You wanna make sure this is engaged. Now, don't be surprised if you don't feel it here at first. That's fine. Most people don't actually because we're so quad dominant in all of our leg exercises. Everybody that works out in the gym is always pushing so much on their toes that their quads take over almost everything. They don't have the neural activation of that posterior chain. So it's very difficult for them to engage that area. So when you're here, it's okay if you don't feel it, quote unquote, in your hamstrings and glutes at first, but you will eventually. So here it is. Do the other side now so you can see the other leg. Boom, chest up, shoulders back, and then there. See how I'm coming straight down too. I'm not coming forward. I'm not anteriorly translating at all. I'm not coming down like this, see? Just straight down. Twice as slow on the way down. 1, 2. 1, 2. There you go. And that is a dumbbell static lunge. Exercise number 2 is dumbbell switchbacks. They're basically just jumping lunges, but there's a lot of ways to do this incorrectly, and there's a very small way to do it right. And so what I want you to pay attention to here is 3 specific things you want to pay attention to when you're doing a jumping switchback, jumping lunge, whatever. The first thing is you want to pay attention to is you go straight up and down. You'll see that you want straight up and down. You don't want to bounce and come back and all this kind of stuff. So what happens is, remember, we've talked about this a lot in all my other videos. Every time when you create momentum, that's what this is, right? It's a plyometric. You create momentum, energy with the muscle. You want to use the muscle to do the work and not let the connective tissue do the work. Meaning you don't want to just bounce on when you come down, you don't want to bounce on your knees. Meaning you don't want your knees to take that pressure and you don't want your low back to take that pressure. So that's the first thing to pay attention to. I'll show you. The second thing you want to pay attention to is make sure you engage that posterior chain. And that is done by sitting back on your hips. You'll hear me say that all the time. Sitting back on your hips, your posterior chain, your glutes and your hamstrings. So if you're doing a left foot forward, that means your left hamstring and glutes engaged, and you'll see me do it here. That's the second thing you want to pay attention to. Now the third thing you want to pay attention to is never let your back heel on the ground. Never. So that's kind of a theme, it is a theme with all of the lunges that we're gonna do today, is you don't want to let your heel come back. Because once you do that and you come down, then see, my knee can't even do it. My knee has to come out and shoot to the side. So always keep that back heel off the ground, right? Now, in terms of range of motion, you can go as low as you want, as high as you want. You don't need to go all the way down. I'm gonna do this with dumbbells. You don't need to use them with dumbbells. You can do it without dumbbells. But I like to add weight on everything I do. Generally, it makes it more of a plyometric. Well, it's still plyometric, but it adds more weight and it makes it more anaerobic. But anyway, so these are 5 kilos, which is like 11 pounds. Not a lot of weight. You can do them with more weight. I just never really do these because, again, it's a plyometric, so you don't need to load your body up a bunch, but it's good to do it. So here it is. The switchback is here. Now I'm gonna do about 7 or 8 on each side. Now chest up slowly back. Now again, pay attention to that. So I go straight up and straight down. And the second part is that I let my hips, my posterior chain, my glutes and my hamstring do the work, and I don't let my back heel. See, I don't want to do that, back heel on the ground, so that's bad. So here. Now I'm gonna switch back and forth, right? As you can see, when I come down, I sit into my hips. That's really important. You wanna sit into your hips. So when I come back, I sit back. See, I sit back into my hips. What I don't do is I don't let my knee come forward and shoot forward. This is not good. There, it's not good. So you wanna come back, sit back into the hips. 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 And that is the dumbbell switchback. Exercise number 3 is goblet squat, but it's a wide stance, okay? So the key on this one is to really, the reason I like wide stance is just really allows you to engage your glutes a little bit more. The trick with the goblet squat that I see all the time people do is they don't have enough range of motion. You need to make sure you have enough range of motion, whatever that means. If you have kettlebells and you are kettlebell and you're using them, I always mess those words up. And if you're using your kettlebell and it's so long and you're shorter in stature, I'm 5'9", I'm not hugely tall, so I have to make sure that I don't, dumbbells are better basically for a goblet squat. Unless the kettlebell is really short and small. And that's the problem. You need to make sure you get at least 5 inches at least. You need about 6 to 7, maybe 8 inches of range of motion. Now, with any squat, if you watch my videos, I'll talk about this a lot. You need to make sure that posterior chain is totally engaged. You don't want your knees to come forward. You don't want them to come over your toes at all. Do not let them come over your toes. Stay back on your heels. You want 80 or 90% of your weight on your heels, okay? At all times. So that's only 10 or 20% of your toes. Now, as you do this, you wanna make sure you stay chest up, shoulders back, as always with everything. Now, I'm gonna be talking to the camera here. So you'll see, I'll have to look down here, but the goal is when you're doing this is to make sure your natural horizon is here. You wanna be 10 to 15 degrees above your natural horizon whenever you exercise at all times. So here, boom. So it looks like this. Again, this is a goblet squat. It's just a wide stance, which actually lowers your range of motion. So you have to be, again, that's why I mentioned the whole holding the weight. Damn! The way that I'm gonna hold the weight is the best way in terms of getting best range of motion with the dumbbell.
I have to tell you, I did not allow this story to be booked on the show.
So here, boom. Now, another thing too, if you're doing a goblet squat, you gotta have real weight. Like, don't let it happen again. Do at least 30 pounds, or 20 pounds at least, I don't know. Depending on if you're male, female, and what your body weight is. And like if you're a 120-pound female, then 20 pounds would be good, maybe even 30. But if you're a guy and you're over 200 pounds, you need to at least do 40 pounds. I mean, there's no real point in doing a goblet squat. You might as well just do regular squats. So Anyway, so here, hold here, chest up. Now go in wide stance. I'd say about 2. 2 inches outside of your shoulder width, right? My shoulder here. This is shoulder width here. So about 2 inches, maybe 3. Here, chest and shoulders back. Now when I hold the weight, hold it here, and I sit back. Boom. Boom. Boom, chest up. What you don't want to do is this, right? Keep that chest up, neutral spine, boom. See, this is super easy. This weight is super, well, it's just like 52 pounds. It's still light though. There we go, that's 55, I think, but anyway. I'm not sure, kilos. But now as you come up, see I'm here, I'm never locking the knees. Staying here, chest up, shoulders back. Don't lock the knees, stay on those heels. Now, twice as slow on the way down. 1, 2, you can go 3 count too, even better. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now, if you're not feeling that in your glutes, you're either 2 things. If you're not feeling that in your glutes, so what happens is when you're not feeling it in your posterior chain, specifically in your glutes, there's 2 reasons. Your neural capacity to understand your posterior chain activation is not there. So I'll watch all my videos because that's what I try to do is I try to get you to engage that posterior chain. The front part of the body, like I said, everybody who does legs always uses their quads. They're quad dominant because our entire culture does this, right? We anteriorly translate, we sit at desks, we do this and all that stuff here. So you want to make sure you have that neural capacity. So meaning that when you're doing these exercises, all the ones in this video and all my other videos, make sure you think and make a mental connection with your posterior chain, specifically your glutes and your hamstrings secondary, but it's the glutes that are usually most underutilized. And the second reason you're not feeling it is because you're not getting range of motion, or your range of motion is so small. So that's why with this goblet squat, you need to make sure you get that full range of motion. So like I said, at least, 5 inches really, 4 inches too short. So 6 to 8 inches is what you're shooting for in terms of range of motion, and sit back into those hips. So yeah, I hope that helps. And this is a great exercise. Again, the wide stance, it'll help you. That's why we're doing this today, and I'm showing you today is it'll help you make that neural connection with your posterior chain, specifically your gluteus maximus, and your hamstrings as well too. So, and that protects your low back. That is awesome. So yeah, enjoy, man. Thanks for being here, and got another exercise coming up. Boom. All right, exercise number 4 is they're basically like step ups. It's one of my fundamental movement patterns, but I call them a knee up because you're not going to be stepping on something, right? So it's a step up without stepping up, so I call them knee ups. Now the key on this one is to make sure that when you come up, you don't let your hips shoot forward. I'll show you here in just a second. You don't let your hips shoot forward.
It's sexy, it's sexy.
As usual, you don't let your back heel, you'll see the theme on all of this. When you do a lunge, you never let your back heel touch the ground. So that's the second thing to pay attention to. Here, boom. And then the third thing you want to pay attention to, when I said you come straight up, you don't want to let your body transfer forward. I talked about your hips. You'll see the hips will come forward, they'll naturally come forward, but you need to make sure you keep them in place, and you don't want to let your body anteriorly translate. So that's the third thing you want to pay attention to. So the first thing is just don't let your hips go forward. And then the second thing is make sure you don't land on your heel. And the third thing is an extension of the first thing. So what this is here, it's a step up, but I call it a knee up because you're here. It's a lunge, right? Actually, we used to call them splunges, but same thing, whatever. Like I said, I'm making a bunch of names, but same thing. So here, lunge down, and then you're just gonna step up. Bop. Actually, let me get there we go. See, make sure the camera can see me. Lunge down, and then step up. Boom. Now when I'm here, see, watch, I don't want to let my body transition and shoot forward. When I say transition forward, I don't want to let it anteriorly translate forward. I want to make sure that my hips stay engaged here. So when I'm here, boom, engaged, and they're engaged. See here? I'm not here. And what happens is a lot of people, when they'll go here. This is easy. Yeah, see, I can't even do it actually because it's so bad. It's just horrible form. And what happens is you're not working the muscle, you're working the connective tissue and all this stuff. That's the incorrect way to do it. Now, correct way. Here's a few sets. I'm gonna do about 5 sets on this side. 1. Make sure that knee, is it still at 90 when I come down as well, right? Here, boom. 6. Now another thing too you wanna pay attention to is when you do this, when I come down, make sure that knee stays gravitationally in line with that ankle. It's that 90-degree angle here. You always want that. Boom. There you have it. Splunge. I used to call them splunges, but dumbbell knee up, same thing. Enjoy. All right, exercise number 5. Now I call this a mini squat, but here's the thing. We're gonna stay in the hole. So if you watch any of my other videos, in the hole, when you're in that bottom part of the squat, when you're here, right? You're in the hole. So what I want you to pay attention, you'll see this on the video. So what I want you to pay attention to is when you're in this exercise here, you're not coming up high. It's not a traditional, I'm a big fan, if you watch some other videos of the dumbbell, or excuse me, the dumbbell or kettlebell jump squat. Those are phenomenal exercises and I love them, they're phenomenal for you. This is different, okay? Again, you're just in the hole. So I call it a mini squat, right? So you want to go down and you want to get in and stay in the hole, and you're going to come up a little bit and you're going to keep staying in that hole. What this does, now if you're trying to break a PR record for a squat, do these. These are amazing, I'm telling you. If you do these once or twice a week, especially if your last exercise of the day for legs, this will get you through that it'll break that pattern, because getting stuck in the hole, coming out of that is one of the hardest parts of a squat. So it's gonna be this. So to pay attention to is what we just saw on the goblet squat, right? Same stuff applies. So you wanna stay in the heel, say all that kind of stuff. I don't wanna repeat all that stuff. So what I want you to pay attention to on this one is just saying the angle. This one doesn't need a huge range of motion. You wanna get deep in that hole and up. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna squat and fire up from the bottom of the hole, up. And only up enough just to get out of it, and then back down, up and down. Don't jump all the way up, you'll see. All right, so I'm gonna grab a dumbbell, and again, you should definitely at least do, I don't know, 20 pounds on this one. If you're over 200-pound male or female, whatever, then you should be doing at least 30 pounds on this one. There's no reason to go really light on this. At first, when you're doing it, sure, try it without weight and learn that, but then start adding weight to this, and then, yeah, here it is. All right, so now, watch here and pay attention to, again, like I said, is you wanna stay in that hole the whole time, right? Slow in, stay in that little range of motion here. You're gonna be right here. And now, stay on the heels. Now, I've talked in my other videos too, you'll hear me talk about toe, heel, toe. So when you jump, you're gonna jump up, but you're not gonna come really high, so you might even keep your toes on the ground here. It just depends on your body and mechanics and stuff like that. But you're gonna drive from the heels, your glutes are gonna engage, you're gonna fire up to the toes. So heel, toe, and then if you jump up a little bit, or if you're still on the toes, get that weight on the toes, you're up a little bit, and then toe, heel, toe, heel. And when you come down for that heel, you're gonna squat, and that's when you get really deep in the hole there in that squat, on this mini squats, and then you're gonna fire up. Toe, heel, toe, heel, squat, heel, toe, heel, squat, heel, toe, heel, squat, toe, right? So here we go, looks like this. Boom. This is like 45 pounds, not a lot, but it's enough to, all right, here, boom. So you get low. This is actually too light. We'll do. 60-some odd pounds, so here. Now sitting back on the heels, look at that, boom, there. Engage those glutes, chest up, not here, not leaned over, chest up. I can feel that in my glutes, big time. That is a mini squat, and I promise you if you do that, and you're trying to break a PR for a squat, phenomenal. So, thanks for watching. There you have it. All right, there's 5 exercises for legs. You dumbbell, I would use a dumbbell every time. Again, but if it's your first time to go through these exercises, you could use them without a dumbbell. You gotta learn the form first, right? So if you need to do it, especially like the last one, the mini squat, it's not a jump, but it's a mini squat, then you could do that without a dumbbell or kettlebell or whatever. But the goal is to incorporate weight into every one of these. So you should always have weight with these. And again, all the same stuff, man. Stay on those heels, go into body, interiorly translate. I don't want you leaning forward on those knees and putting all that pressure on the patella and all that, but it's not good. So really hope this helps. I got another leg exercise set for you here, workout up in the right. And on the left bottom, I'm gonna have a playlist for you that you can check out some of the other latest and greatest of the leg exercises, or some of the full form. Also hit subscribe below. Love to have you on the team, Fitness with Animal, and leave a comment, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So thanks so much, rock on, and yeah, get lean and strong, baby. Boom.